stage soon. I believe we're emceeing this shindig today. What? All right, did you get food? Did you get food? Did you get the bagels? I got the bagel. Yes, the bagel. So okay, the bagel. There's like 9 kinds of cream cheese. I got the plain. But it's very good. It's very good. It's very good. Okay. So my... Testing. Oh, that's better. It keeps turning itself off. And I think battery may be low. All right. So what we're going to do is it's like off on. And what we're going to do is we're hanging out and having breakfast, and Dean's going to come up and we're going to talk to you, and we're going to take your questions. Do people have questions?
Yes.
Oh my God, you always have questions. Okay. How many people watch the podcast with me and Dean and Pamela Bob? How many people know Bob? My God, okay, they're really into it. This is good. So as you know, we can sing for hours, but we do have pretty much everybody here. So, I see Dean is grabbing microphones. He's making sure his works. This is going to be good, okay. We have here, and then we have a Jen Donati is over at my table. I just saw her a minute ago. She's still there. All right, she ran away. We have a bunch of the gang are here. Oh, I got the Stephen are here. It's Toddler Rose and Baby Rose. We have everybody. Where's Pam? Pam Orlance is here. There's Pam. Okay, everybody's here.
Miss Beatles, Charlotte Stewart. Baby Roses. Honey, get out from behind here.
I don't know where everyone else is sitting, but they're all here. Who else?
Mitch is here.
I got it.
It's Manly. Where's...
Mitch is here.
Jonathan.
So, where is it? So, do we know where everybody is?
Wendy. There's Miss
There's Wendy, who got jumped out of the car and was directing traffic on the way in here. Incredible.
We got him through.
So,
Yeah, that's...
there's Jonathan. There's Jonathan. Hi, Jonathan.
Oh, Johnny Johnson! I finally get Johnny Johnson to myself.
And Chad, where's Chad Calgo? There he is. Oh, yes. Victor and Tracy French. Sorry. Oh, no, he's not here. I think he's gone home.
What?
Okay. Oh, Sherry Stoner. Yes. We have a group with us this weekend that's sort of a blended group where we travel as a group. A lot of us travel together to a lot of different events, and so we're sort of hand in glove with each other. And then there's a whole larger group that has joined us this weekend, so it's sort of all new for us too. We know each other out, but we're new to each other as traveling
Here's
companions.
Catherine's
Oh,
here.
Catherine, yeah. So, Catherine, yes, Catherine Lee. Where is she? Where's Catherine Lee Scott?
Catherine Lee Scott of George Bennett and Prairie.
She's here because I saw her in the line and she's back there.
And
Okay.
we have all of
All right, very good. And you need a new battery.
Oh, that's much better. Yes, this thing is sad. I don't know what's wrong with it. Okay, take it away. Take it away, I done dropped it. It's no good. Oh my God. I know this is like, hello, we're out in a field. The fact that we have electricity here is a freaking miracle. We're in a field where they have sheep in a tent. So the fact that there is sound sound is like amazing. So there you go. So I think they have questions. Should we take, as we say, listener questions?
Sure. Before we begin the questions, I'd just like to say, as challenging as it is to make events like this happen, it's to come in to a tent like this and see all of you and the wonderful warm reception that you give us, despite any experience you're having, parking or doing anything else. Thank you for that. The spirit of the prayer was good. So thank you. So yes, do you want to do some Q&A?
I think I have a new battery.
You sort of have a new battery.
It seems somewhat better. All right, let's. Here we go. So, who has a question? Let's start. Let's see. I'm gonna go. What is it? Go with Reggie.
So for both of you, what was your favorite episode and what was your not so favorite episode?
So the question: favorite episode and not so favorite episode. Can we talk about not so favorite episodes?
You know, the only episodes I was like, oh no, anything with a football game or sporting event. Here's why. Only reason was when they film things, you know, in TV out of sequence. So they would film the game. It was very exciting. We had Merlin Olsen of the Fearsome Force of the Rams playing football, for God's sakes. It was incredible. But then they shoot the audience the next day. So we're sitting in the bleachers cheering for nothing. It's 102 degrees, and we're sitting like, okay, your team is winning. Yeah! Your team is losing. Yeah! For like 8 hours. Wait, Charlotte, didn't you pass out on the bench?
I was sitting on the bench watching the game, and Michael said, let's take a break. It's hot. Everybody get in the shade. What's the matter with Charlotte? I was dead out. I was passed out. Say it again. Oh, I was passed out completely from the game. Yeah. So thank you. That's what you do when you do the show.
Those were always rough, those Founders Day picnics. Okay, my favorite episode. He's looking at me like, yeah.
Everybody's favorite episode.
Okay, everybody's a Nelly fan.
Okay, now you're qualifying it.
It's everybody. You and I, yes, Bunny, or as we call it, the one where I go down the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Seriously, I go to other countries and they go, the one. International sign.
What's your, okay, you've already answered your least favorite.
What's your face? What's your least favorite?
Yeah, so, well, this with all, and so we've got Victor French's children sitting over here. There was an episode we did in season 9 that I never quite understood. And I just didn't quite get how we got an orangutan in Walnut Grove. And if there was a shark to be jumped on the prairie, we did with that episode. I couldn't tell you. I know that Jennifer Donati, who is Baby Rose, was sitting directly across from the orangutan at a dinner table, and everyone's wondering, is there any chance this orangutan comes across the table and snatches her? But I don't know, was there a plexiglass? Was there plexiglass between you? You don't remember. Of course you don't remember. But I think that was a cause for some anxiety about that.
My mom was not happy with that.
Jennifer's mom was not happy about seeing her sitting across from the orangutan. These are strong animals.
Child labor laws were not what they are today. Here, sit with this orangutan, honey.
All of the animals that were worked on the show were wonderfully trained, but you never really know what an animal is going to do. But I guess my concern was, why is the animal here doing anything?
Now wait, is Brad here? Is Brad still here? Did he go? Brian, the guy who trained the orangutan and the crow and all the other weird animals and the dogs. He's here this weekend.
No.
He's here now?
I always remember one of the stories that I'll never forget from early on. And we're having breakfast, so forgive me for telling this story. But I was doing one of my first little scenes with Catherine McGregor, where Catherine is pitching the virtues of her daughter for a dinner. And I think it's the first time Zaldamo was but that's not the best part of the story for me. I'll never forget this. We're in the middle, and horses do what horses do. So we're in the middle of the shot, and the tail goes up, and out come the road apples. And Michael cuts the shot, and in runs the craft service man, Johnny Musselman. He says, "It may be shit to you, but it's bread and butter to me." I thought, I have arrived. This is the greatest thing. So, favorite episode. So, well, for me, the transformational episode was Sweet 16.
Yes. Woo!
Because Almanzo finally comes to his senses and realizes what he should have realized all along. So that was really a fun thing. And there were many fun episodes, and I enjoyed all of it. People ask me this, I say, really being there throughout all those years, and I had roughly half the time, was an incredible experience. And it didn't matter what the episode was, other than the orangutan maybe. But all great.
I could say a thing or two about that Colonel Sanders incident.
That's right, you were there.
Mrs. Olsen tries to do a chain restaurant, learns the error of her ways, and then at the very end, this guy dressed up as Colonel Sanders with the tie gets out of the stagecoach, and the music goes like wah wah wah. And I'm like, really, we're going there.
Okay, that's a memorable moment too. Another question. Yes, ma'am, right here.
When you were auditioning, did they give you part of the script, and so what did you have to say in front of the director?
So, all right. So the question is, when we auditioned, were we reading from the script? It's sort of a two-part process. Wonderful story about auditioning.
Because mine was sort of a surprise. Tiny child, 11-ish, when I read for the parts of Laura.
Can you imagine that?
So bad. And Mary, even more wrong.
I can sort of see that.
And what's funny, I did that movie, Throw Out the Anchor, when I was 10, a nice little girl, it was possible. So I didn't get those, and I was like, well, I am not a country girl, fine. And then they made the pilot, and I said, oh, great, it's done. They made a show, they got these girls, they're great, good. And then I get a call that I'm supposed to go back to Paramount Studios. I have an audition. I'm like, what? They did, it's done. So what, my little house in the park, how many people are in this thing? So I've never read the books at this point. I'm clueless. What's a Nelly Olsen? I don't know. I get there with my dad. I'm like 12. I get the sides, and there was pages. It was almost the whole episode of Country Girls they had me read. It was like everything. And I'm like, oh, a lot of pages. And I go through it, and I'm sort of horrified as I read this. And I turned to my father and I said, it's not a normal part. He said, what do you mean? I said, she's awful. He said, what do you mean? I said, this girl's a bitch. And he says, what are you talking about? And I started reading it for my dad. He is hysterical. He's like collapsing in steps. He goes, oh my God. He goes, okay. Don't read it again. Don't rehearse it again. You read it exactly like that when you go in. Don't touch it. Don't move. He goes, put the pages face down. Don't even look at them. He said, you go in and do whatever the heck that was. So, okay, and I go in, and there's Michael Landon, and there's Ken McCrae, and I think in Friendly was there three of them. It was like the other one. I was like, oh wow, okay, read for producers majorly, and it's Michael Landon. Oh my God. And so I'm sitting there, little tiny one there, hello, and I do the whole thing. I don't think the country girls have a penny. What do you think? The whole bit. And then I do the My Home speech. These three guys are laughing until tears are rolling down their face. And they said, could you do it again, please? And I said, oh, yes, sir, little training child actors. What would you like me to change? Nothing, just read the thing about the house again. My home is the best home in all of Baltimore. I think it was the thing about the dishes. Because it's Nelly is so dumb, and there's a joke there, I don't know where she says we have 3 sets of dishes. One for every day, one for Sunday, and one for when someone very important and special comes to visit, which we have never even used yet. And Nelly is like, I have no idea. So I got that. I went, oh, that's really funny. And maybe because I knew that was supposed to be funny. They went bananas, and we left. And at that time, it was about maybe 30 minutes from Paramount Studios to our house. We got in the door, and my agent was already on the phone. He'd already made, they must have, as I'm walking down the hall, called my agent. And he said, wardrobe fitting is Tuesday.
Charlotte has a great story about Audition. You know, if I can
This
step out here with
audition is
this.
epic.
Coming up.
Can you see me? Do you see me? Okay.
Don't stand right here in front of the post.
Okay. When I got a call to go read for a television series, it was a Western, I never heard of Little House on the Prairie, didn't know there were books, little line books, didn't know who Miss Beagle was. So I get there in my usual hippie, I arrive in my usual hippie outfit, which is kind of what I'm wearing now. My jeans and a t-shirt, tie-dye t-shirt, and I walk into a room and there's like 10, I don't know what I'm there for, but I look over and that's Michael Landon, and I went, holy, this is huge. So I realized how important it was. So the first thing I'm supposed to read is my first day at school when Laura and Mary arrived. So I looked at the producer and I said, excuse me, may I sit behind your desk? Well, the whole room they all looked at each other like, hell. So I walked up to Kent's desk, and everybody in the room is going, what does she think she's doing? And I went, quiet! And that's what got me the part.
Thank you, Charlotte. Just quickly, when I read for Michael, and I had never met him before, but it was seeing Michael for the first time was sort of a culture shock. I had been watching promos for years of Little House, so here's Michael in his flat fedora and the suspenders and the dog-eared boots, and he looked like a farmer. Sort of a really pulled together farmer, but a farmer. And I walk in, and here's Michael with gold chain around his neck, a big Star of David around his neck, gold-rimmed Carrera glasses, a cigarette in his teeth, his denim shirt sprayed on with a gun open, down here, the snakeskin boots, the big gold buckle. I mean, if there was a picture in the dictionary next to the definition of big-time television star, that would have been who I saw that day. It was really shocking to me. This guy is not Charles Ingalls. But of course he was. But the wonderful thing about when I did read for Michael, after I'd been told, whatever you do, don't act for Michael, which was very scary to me because I wasn't sure what else I was there to do. But I did get it later. But as I was reading for him, he was looking at me through his hands. He had his hands up like this, looking at me, sitting down on the floor, looking up at me as I was reading with Susan McCrae, who was here last night across the table. And at the end of it, he said, "What are you doing in 2 weeks? Or what are you doing in the second week of May?" And I said, "Well, I'll be finishing final exams at University of the Pacific, where I'm going to school. He said, when are you going to be done? Oh, I'll be done around the 19th. He said, I think we can wait that long. Yes, young
Had
man.
a lot. When he decided, he just went, you, and it was like, yeah.
Well, I think that's the way it works. It is the way it works. You know, people, when they see it, that's it. And I think Michael was very clear. He was very decisive. I never saw a moment's doubt or question in Michael's eyes. He knew what he was doing. So when he looked at somebody and said, yes, that was it. And so we were all lucky for that. Yes.
How did you balance out school life and acting?
How do you balance out, well, that's your question, school life and acting?
Okay, it's murder, I'm telling you. So, what we did, and we followed the rules on Little House. You will hear tales of horror from many child actors. They didn't go to school, they didn't do anything, they didn't read. We were very strict on Little House. We had the welfare worker teacher, but the plan was, in California, the rule is you had to get a work permit, which meant your school had to sign off on it, and your doctor had to sign off on it. And then what the plan was, you had 4 hours work, 3 hours school, and 1 hour rest and recreation plus lunch. So what happened is you would come in and you would shoot a couple of scenes, and then they say go to school while we do the other shot. And you'd go and sit in a room, and it was like study hall. You'd sit in a room with the other kids, and you'd have your homework from school. And then we had a real teacher there. She could help you in all subjects, and she actually administered tests for Melissa Gilbert, Melissa Sue Anderson were there 24/7. And you do your stuff, and then they'd say, oh, work time, and you put down your stuff, and you go work. And sometimes you'd go to school for 20 minutes, work for an hour, or you'd work for 20 minutes, go to school for an hour, and you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth all day. So when you're doing algebra and you're like in chapter 9, this just kind of blows the whole thing. You can't follow anything. And you miss school. They do stuff. People can Zoom call to lectures. They'll bring out a trailer so you can do chemistry lab. Back then it meant if I wasn't there for the lecture on chapter 9, I was just kind of dead in the water. But we did it. We got through school, and it was like glorified study hall. And then you'd bring your homework to school, and the work you'd have the teacher sign your work permit that you had actually studied, and she would catch us goofing off. And me with the magazine behind the algebra book, and so we get busted, and we did. But it was very difficult because I would go to school for a couple of weeks, and then I'd go work for a couple of weeks, and I go back and forth and back and forth. Smartest thing I ever did. I stayed enrolled in the regular public school I was at. So when I was off work, I was at school with my friends that I'd known since the 3rd grade, who had followed us to the same junior high and high school. So no matter what was going on in Hollywood, I was going to see Donna and Jane and Christy, et cetera, and Chris. And they didn't care, because they were Hollywood kids. I would come to school, and it was like, yeah, you're on a series. Listen, let me tell you who broke up with who. And there was a dance, and you did not believe what she was wearing, and oh my God. And did you hear Mrs. So-and-so got fired? They brought in a sub. So yeah, the important things. So yeah, it's really difficult. So if you are a kid in show business or putting kid in show business, focus on the schoolwork first, because it's going to be brutal. Oh, I love you. You're so good. She has a list.
Oh, Tracy Savage.
Tracy Savage, little Cassie
Oh, I'm
Kennedy.
sorry, Tracy. Wow, we're so lost without our normal. Yes.
Pam takes notes. Pam's really good at taking notes.
So I know.
Didn't you work for the newspaper on the show, right?
Okay.
Oh, love those. You want to get packed in ice?
Sure. So the question was I really packed in ice during the he loves me not moment? And yes, it was really ice, and it was great fun to do that. No, it really was, because you get to allow something that's really real around you affect you, and if you just allow it to affect you, that's half the work. More than half the work is being done for you. The ice is doing the acting, because you have a fever, and fevers give you chills, and no problem with the chills with being packed in ice up to my chest. So it all worked really nicely.
Oh, we have more? What?
David Friedman. I'm sorry. Where's David? So come up and talk about Shannen Doherty.
Yeah!
wants to know if there's some dirt here, I guess. So,
There's no dirt for this crowd, at least, because this isn't the right demographic for the dirt I have. Yeah, Shannon, we were on the show together, obviously. I think I was 9 and 10 when I was on the show. I think she was about 2 hours older than me. That was really weird. 2 years older than me. We were friendly on the set. I mean, not that kind of friendly. We hung out at each other's house. She had an older brother who was about my brother's age. All I remember is somehow, I don't get how or why or anything, but we were in the National Enquirer together. So, remember, I'm 10, she's 12, we're dating. And the photo shoot, and I actually have a picture of this, and I posted it on social media. The story was that we were dating, and for some reason, somehow, one of us allegedly owned a 12-foot python or boa. There's this picture of us holding this big-ass snake, and I'm fearful of snakes. That's like a total phobia. And I don't know. So the takeaway is we were dating, we were on the National Enquirer. One other story, we did I think it was a kind of a PR event. I don't remember what the fundraiser was for, but it was like a celebrity softball kind of thing. And I remember on my team was Shannon and then Heather O'Rourke, which was the blonde from Poltergeist. So that was kind of cool. So that was my Shannon story, along with others. We hung out at each other's houses and stuff. So whoever asked that, that's what you get.
thank you, David. Where's Tracy Savage?
I think she's still here.
Tracy Savage, are you still here? Oh, she went away? Oh, she went
She
to
went
the
to her room. Okay, so
Okay, then wait, you had a couple good questions. What are those other questions? You had a nice one on there.
do you have a question for you, Pammy? What's, for me, you have a question for you? Okay, because you are a good answerer of questions.
You had a good one in there. What did you have? You had this Michael.
Yeah, if you're still alive, we have done another season.
Well, how long would the show, like if he, because he was going to do another series. He did High Heaven after Little House, right? And there was a show he started for a fourth. He said Bonanza Little House. It was called Us. And he started filming it. It was about a man who got out of prison and went back to live with his dad and then his young son who he'd lost contact with. And his father is to take care, but his son is starting to get into trouble. And he's now come out of prison, wants to show him the error of his ways. And Michael was playing the ex-con. And they shot a pilot. And he died before it was finished. They showed it anyway. They said this is not 100% edited. We haven't done all the music. And they showed it anyway. Normally a rough cut of a pilot that doesn't have all the music would be a terrible bomb. It would be awful. People loved it. And it was so clear that had he lived, he would have had a 4 series and it would have been a hit.
Wow.
As far as the question about would he have done another season of Little House, I don't think there's any way we can know the answer to that.
You sent it through Messenger?
This is my son. If I could talk, maybe my voice would sound like, maybe it sound like this. I really enjoyed working with Victor French. He was really a great guy working together. And he directed all of my episodes as well. And in most of the moments, there's a lot of funny parts. Always getting thrown in the water. And so one scene when he throws me into the tub, it's a really big tub, the bathtub, and the director and the producer would say, please, let's just do this in one take. We just need one take. Because if you throw you in wrong, it's to get you all dry, to do it all over again. So we practiced so many times, and we did it, just tried to do the first time. There's another scene where we're with Shannon, with one of the other guys. He's just kidding around, trying to pull me into the water because he's jealous that I'm talking to Shannon a lot. So I start whispering to Shannon, do you want to do that to Shannon? And Shannon said, no, you better not. That's what the other scripts you have to do. It's do it in one shot, jump in the water because it takes long to get dry. So one shot, we did it perfectly, and it was great.
Yay!
Do you have any other questions for my character on the show? Anything else you want to ask? We have a question in the back. I want to share your experience with Shannen Doherty and what it was like working together. Shannen and I, we were the same age, and she was the first person who really connected with me. as my character in my role, and also as a friend on the show as well. She was the first person to learn signs with me, the first person to kind of introduce me to her family. So it was really amazing working with her. And it was great to see her and Victor and Melissa all learning signs along with him. It was a really awesome experience to work with her. She was really easy to work with. It was a really special bond. We did school together too. It was really great.
Yay!
Any other questions? No? Awesome.
Thank you.
One other question?
How was the audition? How was your audition?
Oh, the audition.
To be honest with you, it's really big. I don't remember that much from the audition. Before that, I was involved on another show called Family Tree. Family Tree was a show before that. It was just a new pilot show. And then Little House on Prairie, he did audition for that afterwards and got that role. And they wanted me to stay for a longer time, but he already had a contract with this other TV show, and so he was doing both of them for a while. Maybe Mom remembers more than I do. Mom's in the back. So when he was
10 years old.
When he was 10, they picked him up and they wanted a deaf, for Family Tree, they wanted a deaf boy to pick him for that role. And they put him in there. And Family Tree for the pilot. And then as it went, it was going pretty well. And then it fell through, so then again, when he was 12, they did a contract with Family Tree. And then how Little House found him, I'm not sure. Maybe they knew each other through some contacts, but they really wanted him. They already had a contract with Family Tree, so they asked, hey, can we borrow him for a little bit? And they're like, okay. They didn't know that it might fall through, so they let him try, and then he did an audition for Little House.
Say, but what about the audition? Do you remember that?
Do you remember the audition? You remember that? Maybe. It's very vague. So they wanted someone who could sign specifically for Little House, and so they did an audition for that one. He just walked in, they met him, they said, all right, you got it. And so he had a really good agent. So it was really interesting because my first role in Family Tree, my character was deaf, but he was hearing. He was hearing and then became deaf later on. And in his role in Little House, he actually could hear, but he couldn't speak. So it's kind of a switch. So a lot of people met me on the booth today and said, oh, you're actually deaf. I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm deaf, but I was acting like I could hear on the show. So I'm a really good actor. I pulled all of it. I really love my memories of Little House. Thank you all. Love you all so much. Thank you.